Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 7th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we'll get started shortly. So sorry for the late start. I'm trying to fix the copier right now. I think there may be copiers with social trader tools, guys, if you guys are trying to use them. I've been trying to set up my new copier for the past like 20 minutes now, and I keep getting errors. So I have to keep going back through hoops to get everything set up. So just be careful if you guys are using social trader tools, or if you want to just turn off your copier, that might be your best option, because I think there are issues going on with their servers right now. So just give me a few moments to finish setting this up real quick, and then we'll get started shortly. All right, here we go. Get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, looks good. Hey guys, morning everybody. I'll give it a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we will get started shortly. I'll give the heads up once everybody's in here, because there's some issues with social trader tools if you guys are using the copier. Let's see. All right, looks like about half of you guys are here so far. So I'll give it a few more moments for people to make their way in. So good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, February 7th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. What I was going to say, guys, that sorry for the late start. I've been trying to set up my copier for like the past 20, 30 minutes. I think there's an issue with the copier because the website keeps giving me like a blank page and it keeps giving me errors. So if you guys are using the copier, I'd probably be careful using it. I've been trying to set it up and I keep getting kicked out of the website. So just looking over here at US30 real quick, let me do a quick analysis. Everything here is bearish. As you guys can see, prices below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. So looking at the breakout 2.0, if you guys do decide to take it, it's going to be a sell for today. I'm gonna go ahead and mark this up right here so that you guys can see. So it looks like it's going to be a sell for today if you guys do decide to take the breakout 2.0. Again, you know, this is not a trade that I personally take, so this is really up to you guys if you guys want to take it or not. I think there's just too much margin that gets eaten up if I take this trade, and it messes with the scalps that I do prefer to take. So looking at this here, everything is bearish. Momentum here is bearish. So obviously the breakout 2.0 will be a sell. If you guys do decide to take it, I'll mark it up and leave it up there. But I'm not going to be taking it myself. It's also bearish here on the shorter time frame, so it looks like we'll be looking for some sells. There were a couple entries that came up here pre-market, but no, obviously I didn't take them. There's a momentum scalp variation that's currently running right now. I think it already hit TP, but not necessarily one that I'm currently in because I'm still busy trying to fix my copier over here. So let's see who else is here. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Keonia. Morning, David. Morning, Martha. Morning, Maria. Morning, Karen. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad to be back, guys. You know, as much as I do like going on vacation, I enjoy more being home and trading with you guys here every day. Morning, Peter. Morning, Van Harwig. Morning, Christian. Morning, Craig. Morning, Gak. Good morning, everybody. So guys, if you guys are just joining the room, just a heads up, if you're using social trader tools, I think there's an issue with the website. I'm having issues setting up my copier because I'm just using 3 accounts right now because my 2 FTMOs that I was doing prior, I have to swap them out. So I'm swapping out my old funded accounts with my new funded accounts. I just passed 2 FTMO challenges. They're now funded within like 17 days. So I just have like one more day where I have to do my trading requirement. Actually, 130 passed. There's just one more account that needs to be finished. Market is now open, guys. So if you guys took the breakout 2.0, it's currently running. So breakout 2.0 is currently running. Price is kind of just bouncing around right now. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend hopping into anything specifically at the moment, but we'll follow the charts. So guys, just a reminder, if you guys are new here, there's only 3 strategies that we typically apply that are official entries for us. They are going to be the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. These entries come in order, so we're looking to take these whenever they pop up. Momentum scalp failure, which is going to be right here. Momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp. All right, we got those lined up right there. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my alerts so that we can be aware when these entries come up. I'm going to go over here real quick. Turn on my scalp monitor. All right, so let me go and mark up opening price right here as well. All right. There is opening price. Let me check the news from this morning. I'm not sure if there was news that came out. So there's news here at 5:30. And then I think that's it. So there's news here at 5:30, and that's about it. Today's Fed day, so we have Fed Chair Powell speaking later today. And also we have the State of the Union address today, I believe, by Biden. So we have a kind of crazy week going on. I mean, we'll see how that affects the market. It's going to affect the market for sure, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Other than that, there's no other news for today. Let me check my FX book real quick. We have news over here at 7 as well. All right, we have news at 7, and I think that's it. All right, so it looks like we're good to go. We had news over here at 5:30. We have news coming up at 7, and I think that's pretty much it. So looking at these strategies, guys, the overall thing that we need to look for here is the trend first, right? So looking over here, we currently have a bearish trend. Reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down across the board for the 5-minute, 1-minute, and 10-minute. However, here on the 1-minute, you can see price is pushing back up, and it may be pushing above the pivots right here. However, we don't have a confirmation that it's actually, closing above there just yet. So just got to wait and see where price goes. But currently right now, we're looking for sells. So in order for us to have a sell, we need to look for a momentum signal in the opposite direction, which we would consider a retracement momentum signal. So right here, price is bearish. We're looking for this buy signal here to come up. Once this buy signal comes up, we will have possible entry for a momentum scalp failure. Looking over here at the momentum scalp failure requirements, first you want to confirm the overall trend, which is currently bearish right now. Next, you want to confirm the retracement momentum signal, which will be a buy signal here because it's going against the trend. Third requirement, you want to confirm volumes below average. And then lastly, you want to enter on the close of that candle. However, for these strategies here, I typically don't enter the first one. It does hit pretty often, but this is the riskiest out of them all because this is going against the trend. I typically enter on this one right here, momentum scalp variation. A lot of people only enter on this one as well because this one typically hits almost every time. So it's up to your guys' preference, what you guys want to take. But for me personally, I recommend you wait for this one. So this was going to be the start of the move. It's going to be the first leg. And then from there, these typically follow. And when these follow immediately after this entry, it's usually a for sure hit. So I'm going to wait for this one right here. And once we get confirmation, we will look for entry here. So we have a pending buy signal right here. If this here closes, this will technically be a momentum scalp failure. What I'll be looking for from this point is I'm going to look for price to actually come back down, close below the pivots. And then from that point, I'm going to be looking for momentum scalp variation. The range here is pretty big right now, so I might go for the 250 move. Let me see if the we'll see when the candle actually closes, and I'll see like where the range is going, because if it's too big, then we'll go for the bigger push. If it's too small, we'll just go for 100 pips. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and wait for that here. Yeah, Maddie said that breakout 2.0 actually started like way down here. Yeah, you're right, Maddie. So the breakout 2.0 is still running. All right, we have the buy signal here on the 1 minute. So this is technically a momentum scalp failure entry. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not looking to take this specific entry here. I'm looking for price to come back down further. So this one's currently running right now, momentum scalp failure. Actually, sorry, I take that back, guys. Volume's too high. So thanks, Manny, for the correction. The volume here is too high. For the third requirement here, volume needs to be below average. So since this requirement here isn't met, there's no momentum scalp failure right now. So if we get a momentum scalp variation, this is likely to not be a high probability trade, because typically we want these to all line up after each other. So you want a momentum scalp failure to follow a momentum scalp variation. It'll still be a momentum scalp variation if it closes below the pivots over here. However, as I mentioned, it's not necessarily going to be a very high probability, because you typically want these to line up right after each other. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. The volume is too high. Let's see. Nick said trend is not confirmed yet. I believe trend here is bearish, right? So price is below the pivots, trend meter is green. I mean, sorry, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down. It's the same with all the other timeframes here, Nick. So it is bearish across the, I mean, it's the same analysis I did prior to this candle. So here's the thing, Nick. I think this is where you get kind of confused, because you think just because price is above here, it's shifted, right? It hasn't shifted yet, because price has been bearish here. This is just a retracement. So if you go back a little prior for a couple candles, this is obviously pretty bearish over here, right? Pivots are angling down, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red. Just because price pushes up slightly like this doesn't mean that there's a switch in trend. This means that the trend is still bearish. It's just retracing right now. So we still currently have a bearish trend right now. So just to clear up the confusion right there, Nick, if you're confused about that. All right, there's a possible entry here. If this here closes with a sell signal, guys, this is going to be a momentum scalp and momentum scalp variation. So I'll be looking for this here to close. You know, with the way that the market's currently moving right now, I'll probably only go for only 100 pips on here, because the movement here is, well, it's not moving back down. So let's see, Nick over here made a comment. Let's see what Nick said. So Nick said not necessarily shifted, but this type of movement early in the morning makes me not so sure about a bearish bias for the day. I mean, if you look at all the time frames, Nick, everything here is bearish, right? So look on the 10-minute, it's bearish, 5-minute bearish, 1 hour bearish, 30-minute bearish, 10-minute bearish. So I mean, everything here is pretty much bearish to me. It's just because the 1 minute, the 1 minute's going to move. It's always going to be choppy. That's just how the 1 minute it is, right? It's a 1 minute time frame. So you have 1 minute candles here where price pushes around. There's a bearish bias here across all the higher time frames. So the 1 minute typically follows the higher time frames. The 1 minute is always going to be choppy. So, I mean, your analysis, there's nothing wrong with your analysis, right? If you don't think price is bearish, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that it's bearish. So that's why I'm trying to explain my side of things. But if you don't think it's bearish, that's completely fine. Don't like let my analysis kind of, you know, overcome yours. If you think price here is neutral, then that's your analysis. But for me personally, everything here is pretty much bearish to me, right? 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish. Everything's bearish to me. So I don't see anything here looking like it's neutral or even shifting at all. It's just the 1 minute here, which doesn't really have much impact, because, you know, every other time frame here is very stronger. It's like a 1 hour candle is 60 1 minute candles. So if it would take like, you know, 100 or 200 1 minute candles for it to really shift here on the higher time frames. Yeah, Kip said things could reverse, but it's not a bullish trend. Yeah, and I agree with Kip too. Nick said 60% short sentiment as well, kind of feeling like it's a trap. Well, today is Trap Tuesday, so the trap might be a push to the upside and a correction back down, Nick. So, and we're looking for a trend. We don't care about the retail sentiment. I think, that's kind of like, you know how I introduced a lot of these things for you guys to confirm? I think this kind of like made you second think a lot of things, but like realistically, for the specific strategies that we're looking for here, Nick, it doesn't say anything about retail sentiment, right? We're looking for trend. So if you're looking for an overall bias, then yeah, maybe that'll have a say in it. But for this specific strategy, we're only looking for trend. We don't care about retail sentiment. We don't care about fundamentals. We don't care about any of that. The only thing we care about is trend, because that's the requirement, right? So yeah, if you want to look at a bigger picture of things, then yeah, of course, you might be influenced that, you know, price may go the other way. But even with the 60% sentiment here, the sentiment here is so much stronger on the higher time frames that you don't really, it doesn't really work as well in the shorter time frame. So we never look at this, right? We look at this for maybe a higher bias, like if you're looking at everything from a fuller picture. But overall, I don't think this year is going to really make the determining factor with regarding, you know, how things are going to move. But today is Trap Tuesday, so be very careful about where price is moving, whether it's moving up or whether it's moving down, because, you know, the trap might be setting up here for a buy rather than setting up for a sell. I mean, yeah. So you can see our price kind of pushed up. The trap might be here for a buy. People might chase this buy because they think price is reversing, but realistically, price is just going to come all the way back down. Price it didn't actually touch it yet, Nick. So the Asia low is right here. So it hasn't actually touched it yet. I mean, it's close to it, but it's not actually there yet. So, I mean, this might be the fake out for this move here, and it might come right back down. I mean, who knows, right? There's no right or wrong here with regard to our analysis. This is just how I see things. But if you see things as like, you know, faking out in the other direction, that's fine too. But yeah, we'll just wait. There's no confirmation here. I mean, if price comes below, then in my perspective, it's going to be an entry for these here. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be a super clean entry because we didn't have an actual momentum scalp failure line up yet. All right. So anyways, there's no entries for us to take right now. Let me go back on these other time frames. There's currently a buy signal here, so there's no longer a momentum anymore. Yeah, thanks, Christian, for the heads up. So we need a sell signal here in order for us to take a momentum scalp failure or momentum scalp variation or momentum scalp. So there's a couple of things here that we can look for. We can look for a sell signal here and then look for another buy signal. That'll be a setup for a momentum scalp failure. However, for a momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp, you need to have a sell signal on both the 5 and 10. We don't have a sell signal here. We currently have a buy signal. So there's no room for entry at the moment. All right, it's just going to be a matter of patience over here. I mean, we got to just wait. There's nothing for us to look at. I mean, the trend is starting to come back down. However, the momentum signal here on the 5 is not there yet. So we just got to wait here for the sell signal to come up. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take this entry right here. This entry right here would have been a momentum scalp if it closes, momentum scalp and momentum scalp variation, but there's no sell signal here on the 5. So until we get a sell signal here, there's no entry for us. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Jason, the link is in the premium group. So make sure to check the premium groups and then you can get the link from there. Cause I can see you're here on the YouTube right now. Hey, AR, how's it going? Hey, T, morning. Morning, Gary. Morning, Song. Yeah, no, definitely. All right, we're just waiting for this to confirm. We don't have any confirmation yet. We still need the sell signal here to come up. Once it comes up on the 5, then we can look for entries here on the 1, but we just don't have that yet. So we need an actual sell signal to close in order for us to have any entries, really, because we can't even get a momentum scalp failure until there's been a confirmation of momentum here, because we can't get a buy signal here until we get a sell signal, and then we can't get a sell entry for these until we get a sell signal here on the 5. So we're kind of just waiting for a lot of this stuff here to confirm yet. Just keep in mind, guys, that today is what a lot of people call Trap Tuesday. If you guys are new to trading, you're probably not familiar with it, but a lot of traps get set up on Tuesday. That's why a lot of people kind of joke around about Tuesday being Trap Tuesday. And you can kind of see it here. It's a little clear. Going back to like Nick's analysis, he mentioned that, he doesn't really see this as a bearish bias. And I don't disagree with him. It's just for me and my perspective, everything here is bearish to me. That's why I'm looking for a sell. However, Nick's analysis isn't necessarily wrong because it is Trap Tuesday. But what I can see here is the traps are being set up on the top side. I think price will push up a little bit. It'll trap people in for a sell, but then it's going to come right back down. Because overall bias here with regard to trend is very strong for a sell. The 1 hour here is super strong for a sell. There's been some fake outs here, but realistically, it's been a sell since February 3rd. Same with the 30-minute over here. Price has been a sell since I say this part right here, since like February 3rd. Yeah, basically February 3rd has been bearish. And I think it's going to continue. It's just going to be a lot of noise until it actually, pushes in that direction. Christian said people will see head and dislocated shoulders. Yeah, I know the patterns here are really messy. If you guys are pattern traders, you can see that the patterns here are extremely messy. I mean, I can kind of see what Christian's saying with the head and shoulders there, but it is a messy move. The 5-minute over here still doesn't have a sell signal, guys. So unfortunately, if this does close, which it did, this technically would have been an entry for us, but since there's no sell signal here on the 5, the requirements aren't met. So this here would have been a possible entry for us. But, obviously we can't take the trade there because the requirements aren't met. So let me go ahead and explain to you why these requirements weren't met. The entry that technically would have came up right here would have been both of these, a momentum scalp variation and a momentum scalp entry. So looking at the first requirement, you want to confirm the overall trend. We already confirmed that it's bearish. Second, you want to confirm momentum aligns on the 5 and 10. Looking over here on the 5 and 10, momentum does not align, right? Because momentum here is bullish and momentum here is bearish. So we need both of these to be bearish with a sell signal. And once we have that, we can look for entry here, on the 1 minute. So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time, guys. We just got to wait for a confirmation here. Once we get the confirmation, we can start looking for entries. But the thing here that we'll be looking for next is going to be a momentum scalp failure. So there's no entry here for momentum scalp variation or momentum scalp because we don't have momentum aligned. However, if we get a buy signal here at any point, it'll technically be an entry for a momentum scalp failure. This whole setup, just like the whole setup here for the 3 strategies will start over. There's technically one here that's still running. The first one, or actually, sorry, I take that back. There was nothing running here because volume was above average. So there's actually no entries that have come up yet. So it's got to sit tight. Yeah, David said, don't feel comfortable with this type of market, better wait. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, David. I prefer to wait right now until we have some sort of confirmation. Yeah, Christian said no FOMO. Kip said 1 minute is risky even for pivot scalp because low volume. Yeah, I agree with you too, Kip. The volume just isn't on point right now. Christian also confirmed here, he mentioned, I think it's ranging, waiting for news. Yeah, and I agree too. We have news over here at 7 o'clock, guys. It's, let me check my FX book again. So for my FX book at 7 o'clock, we have IBD, TIPP, economic optimism. It's coming up shortly. Right here. So, price is pretty much bouncing back and forth until we get a confirmation. My target price point is going to be opening price. You guys know that, right? Typically, if you have a bearish bias, my target price point is always going to be opening price down here. So I think this is where price is going to end up going in eventually. It might not happen right now, but I think eventually it will make it down to this point here. So this is my target area where price is reach. We do have news right here. Hopefully news will push price down. I think optimism is going to be low because we are going into a recession. We have the State of the Union address today, and then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking today as well. We have a lot of news going on behind the scenes after the live session. So just keep that in mind, guys. State of the Union address by Biden. He's going to basically tell us how the country, economy, et cetera, is doing. And the thing with Biden is that you don't really know what he's going to say. When Trump was president, he would just say the craziest things and then everybody would believe him, right? He would just say America's doing great, even though we're in COVID, everything is closed and all that stuff. Like he would just say a lot of outlandish things that gave people hope, right? The thing with Biden is he doesn't really give people hope. He kind of tells you something and he says, okay, this or that, but it doesn't really tell you whether the economy is doing well or not. So people are always confused, what to think. So I think that's today. Let me check. I saw it on the airplane yesterday when I was flying back. State of the Union address. Yes. So the State of Union address is happening today at 9 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Pacific time. So expect the market to kind of move a little crazy later today with Biden speaking, because the thing is he's so wishy-washy that there's no clear direction whenever he speaks. So I'd probably not trade Asia session today because you might get blown out. I mean, depending on like if you're in the proper direction or not, you might get blown out of your positions if you guys are trading Asia session tonight. And then also we have Powell speaking later today too. So Fed Chair Powell speaking at 9:40 today, like about an hour and a half after our live session. You want to be careful trading around that time too, because typically Powell is good for the market, but the market is not good. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Sheena's asking, which one of your strategies is best for long-term trades in the London session? Well, I mean, depends. What are you trading, Sheena? If you're trading US30, if you're trading London session, then I would trade a London asset. I would trade like UK 100 or the DAX, I think 35 now. It used to be DAX 30, but it might be DAX 35 or DAX 40. Okay, currency pairs. Well, I mean, currency pairs doesn't really matter because they're mostly a ranging asset. You can use the intraday strategy, or you can use the, you can use basically any of the strategies during that time. But most of these strategies, like the scalping strategies, are mainly for US30 because you have a specific time period where the volatility is high. The one that you should probably be using, I mean, there's a couple here. Let me see if I can pull up the course real quick. The one that I use for pretty much all of our strategies is the SR zone strategy. So like before, when I would call signals every day, the main strategy that I used for literally all of our signals was the SR zone strategy. So you might want to check that one out. Let me see if I can go and find it real quick. There's a lot of strategies. You can use the same strategy that we're using right here. Basically like the momentum scalp strategy. You can use this, but it's just not going to be a scalp entry, right? Because you're going to be on the higher time frames. Depending on what asset you're trading, you can still scalp, but it also depends on your broker. So if your broker has tight spreads, then you can scalp. If they don't, then you'd have to, intraday. You're looking for long term, so you probably want to look for intraday. You can apply the same strategy that, like, I already have mine set up here. So basically the same strategy that we're applying here for US30, I apply it on Forex pairs as well. I just use a higher time frame. Since you want to trade higher time frames, I use the 1 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour time frames. Typically here on US30, I'm using the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute. So you're pretty much doing the same thing that I'm doing here for momentum scalp, but on Forex, I'm using higher time frames. So I'm using the 1 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour time frames. So basically all the strategies that we're using work pretty much the same for Forex on the higher time frames, but you just have to pick a specific pair that actually moves during that period, which is like majority of the major pairs. So you could trade basically any major pair, like GJ. A lot of people like to trade GJ, and you can apply this on the higher time frames. So main difference is you'll apply this strategy. Your TP stop loss just depends on like where your swing is. Sometimes your swing's too high. Like for example, if I'm looking for an entry here, let's see. I don't think there is. Okay, so looking at this right here, there was an entry right here, and this lines up with the 4 hour and 8 hour, right? So like if I was to enter something like, I'm trying to figure out like a good area, like this right here, for example. I would enter there, and your stop loss would be the swing. And sometimes I'd round it, sometimes I just leave it as is, but most of the time I round it to the whole number. And you can see here that it works. Typically, I have a cutoff like around 50 pips. I don't know how long you plan on holding the trades. Each strategy is a little different because it depends on what you mean by long term. Do you plan on holding it for like 100 pips, 200 pips, days, weeks, etc.? There's so many different ways to apply these strategies. The only difference is you're going to adjust the way that you're applying. So like, for example, if you're trading intraday and you only want to hold it for like maybe a couple hours, and you go on the 1 hour. If you're doing it on, the 4 hour and you want to hold it for like days or weeks, then you just change this to the 4 hour. You can change this to the 8 hour, and you can change this to the daily. So, all the strategies are based off momentum. So it doesn't really matter what asset you're trading or what time frame you're trading on. You just want to adjust it. So if you want to hold it for a longer hold, you go on the higher time frames. If you want to hold it for a couple hours, then typically I'll use the 1 hour for entry, 4 hour, and an 8 hour for confirmation of direction. So you can use the momentum scalp strategy. I mean, basically all the strategies here still work perfectly fine. It's just up to your preference of what you're looking for. So, I mean, if you can give me more details, like how long you plan on holding the trade, or I can just show you the strategies here and you can play around with them. So the main ones for Forex and longer holds, I mean, because long is so subjective. I don't know what you mean by long. If you mean like a couple hours, days, weeks, you just need to change the time frames. Okay, intraday. So I don't really consider those longer holds. I just consider those like intraday trades, right? Because those are only like for a couple hours. Yeah. So when you say long, I thought you meant swing trading, like holding it for days or maybe even a couple of weeks. So the main one that I use for that specifically would be, where did I put it at? Okay, so the SR zone strategy, this one right here, you can use it for intraday and swing. Like a couple of years ago when I used to only call signals, this was the only strategy that I used. So it says recommend to follow 2.0 version above. I think it might be up here. I never posted that one here, so just stick to this one down here. I was just updating it to make it a little more clear, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same strategy. It's just an update of the same strategy. But this would be the main one right here, the SR zone strategy. You would apply this one and then the intraday strategy as well. But the intraday strategy is the same as the momentum scalp. So what I'd recommend is if you want to do trade like that, then just do the same strategy that we're applying here, the momentum scalp, but just use it on higher time frames. So here are the requirements for the momentum scalp. It's super simple. And this is why I recommend using it, because it's super simple. You just want to confirm the overall trend, right? So like, for example, here, odd USD is not a good pair to use, for example, because it's not really moving directional. Let me see if I can find one here. All right, so this is a good example right here for Euro USD. So the same strategy that we're applying over here, you're just doing it on higher time frames. This is what I've been using for the signals now, because it's just easier for us to follow. So confirming the trend, instead of the 1 minute, you're using the 1 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour. I mean, that's pretty much it. And you already have, and I've introduced the new indicator, so you don't really need to confirm momentum because you'll get a gold bar if it comes up. So this is why it's a lot easier to apply. So if you turn on the gold bars, the only difference is your TP stop loss. So I don't know if I put this in the new 2.0 course, because I don't really apply, this isn't necessarily what we're focusing on for the mentorship. So I don't think I put it on here, but it's pretty much the same thing. You're just doing it on a higher time frame. Yeah, so what I recommend is just look at the momentum scalp strategy here, Sheena, and then just change the time frames to like higher time frames. So like basically right here is an example of what I was just referring to. So like, for example, here we have a sell momentum on sell momentum on the 1 hour, sell momentum on the 4, sell momentum on the 8. Everything here is bearish, right? Because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. And then here on the 1 hour, your entry would have been taken right over here. So confirm the overall trend, everything here is bearish. You have a sell signal right here, momentum sell on both 1 hour, 8 hour, and 4 hour, because you have a gold bar right here. You just change your settings. If you go up here to the momentum settings, you just change it to 4 hour and 8 hour. So once you get a sell signal there, it'll be a gold bar. You take a short position right here. Your stop loss will be right there. TP be equal distance, 20 pips. You let the trade run, and then it hits like on the next hour. So this one hit right away. There's another one that happened right here, right before it. It's like literally the same strategy. So again, right here, same thing. Everything's bearish in our short position. Stop loss is right here. Same thing, 20 pips. They hit right away. But this one took a little longer. So this one over here took like about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. But it still hit. The other one hit like right on the immediate next candle. So it's pretty much the same strategy. It's just different with regard to time frames. So that's what I'd recommend you using, Sheena. I mean, if you want to use any of the strategies, all the strategies work. It's just, I think this would be the most easiest for you to follow. But there's like a lot of different strategies you can apply. All the strategies still work perfectly fine. It just depends on your preference. So I think you should just use this, because this is what I use for all of my scalp entries. I mean, not scalp, for all my Forex entries and for all the signals that I call in the group. So that's probably your best bet. But there are a lot of options if you want to use any other ones. Yeah, no problem, Sheeta. All right, guys. So news just passed right here. All right, so we got news right there. Still no entries here, guys, so don't worry. We didn't miss anything. I was just showing Sheena like one of the strategies for Forex that I typically would recommend, because that's what I apply myself. I have a lot of strategies, but I try to keep things as simple as possible. A lot of these strategies are pretty much the same thing, just different entry points. But that's one that's super easy to follow. Thanks, Maddie. So the news is positive. Check my FX book. Yeah, news was positive right there. Let's see if there's anything else here for us to look at. Thanks, Kenny. Kenny sent me a link. So the House GOP leadership holds a news conference. Thanks, Kenny. I haven't spoken yet, but they do plan on speaking soon. So let's see, the 5-minute here still hasn't given a sell signal. So there's still no entry for us to take here for a sell. Unfortunately, we're waiting for this 5-minute here to provide a sell signal. Once we get that, then we can start looking for entry, but we just don't have that yet. All right, so we have a pending buy over here on the 10-2. If this here closes, we're going to have an issue, because it's going to be hard for us to get that swing back to the downside. So we got to keep an eye out on this 10 here to make sure it doesn't close. It's still it's pending, so it hasn't actually closed yet, but it keeps coming up and disappearing. That's why we have a gold candle right here. So looking at this candle right here, this is gold because at the time of this candle entry, or at the time of this candle close, we had a green buy signal here, but it never closed. So it was pending, but never actually closed. Yeah, Nick said freaking third Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, just looking over here on the 1 minute, you guys can see that there's like literally no direction in price. Price is kind of just going back and forth, or it's just going sideways. I think I think this area right here is where price needs to be. So I know price opened down here, but you can see this huge spike on pre-market, or, right before it opened. I think if price gets down below this area and stays below this area, it's going to continue dropping to opening price. So you can see it attempted to right here. Price came down to this point, rejected directly off it, and swung right back up. I think if price ends up closing below this point, then the next target price point would be opening price down here. But, we don't have that confirmation yet. Looking over here on the higher time frames, everything's still going sideways. Even the breakout 2.0 is still running. which I mean, honestly, surprisingly, it's still running. It's in heavy drawdown, but if it does come back down, it'll correct back to opening price back below. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. I think I got sick from my trip or just from being on the flight for so long. All right, guys, I'm back. It makes sense because the world knows I started my 100K FT mode today. I know, right? Trap Tuesday, perfect day to start. All right, guys. So just back to what I was explaining earlier. So the reason why I think this here is like level ground for like price to make direction is because this is where price was before market opened. So price is pretty much just going sideways right here. And then this big spike right here happened on the candle prior to open. And then price faked out, came right back up, faked out right here, came back below. It tried to break right here, but it failed. And then it came back up. So I think if price ends up coming back below this area, it'll correct back down because our target price point is still going to be opening price right here. Reason for that is because everything here is bearish, right? You know, whenever I look for some sort of bias or some sort of direction, I just look on the higher time frames. If everything here is bearish, then my guess is that, okay, if price continues down lower, then it's just going to go back to opening price because this is where price needs to be at in order for it to swing back negative. Right now, currently it's positive because obviously, let me pull up CNBC real quick. Yeah, because everything here is bearish, right? So you look over here on the fundamentals, everything is still bearish. So technically, in order for it to confirm the direction, you need to come right back below. So I think this push up right here is just temporary, or what I can see happening right here, guys. And let me just clean this up a little bit. One thing that you guys got to remember is that Powell is speaking today, right? So Powell is speaking over here at what, 9 o'clock, I believe. So I think price may continue to get propped up for right now, not necessarily like long term, but I think price will continue to prop up and go sideways. It might just go up, sideways, come back down a little bit, come back up, sideways. And then I think when news happens over here, well, not really news, but when Powell speaks here at 9 o'clock, he's not necessarily going to have a lot of good things to say about the economy, right? So I think price is going to come right back down from there. And then I think over here, you'll have that big spike to the downside when Powell speaks. I think from now until Powell speaks later today, it's going to keep going sideways. Like it'll push up a little bit, go sideways, come down, go sideways, go back up, go sideways, etc. But eventually when Powell speaks later, he's either going to spike price up or down. Typically, Powell is good for the economy. However, I think he's going to announce that there's still going to be some more interest rate hikes, right? Because I think the last month, it wasn't very big. And I think this month is going to be a lot bigger because we're still going to depression. That's like undeniable. We're all still going to depression. So, I mean, the only way for them to get out of that depression is to increase interest rates. Right, because we're in so much debt right now. So the only way to make more money is to charge people more money for the money that they want to pull out. So it's a double-edged sword. Like interest rates will go up, but the recession will start to soften up. If interest rates don't go up, then the recession will just keep getting heavier and heavier. It just depends on how much they're looking to pad it. So we'll see, what happens in the next, I guess, couple of days or so. I think this week might be a little crazy because this is Fed week. So we got Powell speaking today at 9 o'clock or 9:40 actually. And then tomorrow we have Williams speaking pre-market, Fed member Barr speaking at 7, wholesale inventories, crude oil inventories, 10-year bond auction, Fed member Waller speaking tomorrow as well. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, natural gas storage, 30-year bond auction. And then on Friday, we have prelim UOM consumer sentiment expectations and just sentiment in general. So some more inflation news later on this. Well, pretty much every day this week, there's inflation news because this is Fed week. Let's see what Kenny sent me. Kenny over here said, House Armed Services Committee holds hearings on the Chinese threat to national defense. So this is, if you guys see here, there's a lot of things that Biden is going to be speaking about during the State of the Union address. He's going to talk about the issue with China. He's going to talk about the recession. He's going to talk about interest rates. He's going to talk about a lot of things that's going to affect the economy as a whole. There's a sell signal right here, guys, but there's no sell signal here on the 5 yet. So unfortunately, no entry for us. So as you guys can see, we're in a bit of a wacky market. There's a couple entries here that came up and they would have hit their profit target, I believe. Yeah, it looks like, so depending on what TP stop loss you'd be using, if you're using a 1030, this would have hit your TP. If you're using a 2550, looks like this, I don't know if this would have hit your TP, probably wouldn't have, oh, it looks like it may have hit it. But there's no entries here that we could have taken because obviously there's no sell signal here. But there's a couple setups here that could have been entries. This would have been entry for a momentum scalp and momentum scalp variation. And then again, right here, this would be another entry for momentum scalp and momentum scalp variation. However, it's at a red flag news price. So not one that we would necessarily take. You guys can see, so I drew these horizontal lines on the chart, right? Let me just clean this up a little bit so that you guys can see it better. All right, so you guys can see here that I drew these horizontal lines, right? There's a reason why we don't trade around these areas, because you can see that whenever price gets near them, price gets manipulated, right? So for example, here, price came up, touches purple line, bounced down, right? Price came down to this pink line, bounced back up, came up to this purple line, bounced down, came back to this pink line again right here. And it just bounces back and forth, right? So that's why we don't trade around these areas. You know, we have red flags that we follow. Basically, a simplified version of the red flags is just don't trade whenever price is near these horizontal lines, because you'll see whenever price gets near them, price will get manipulated, right? You never know if price is going to break through it or if it's going to just bounce off it. So it's probably best to just wait for price not to be near those areas, because when price is near those areas, that's kind of what screws it up a bit. So let me turn everything back on here. But I mean, either way, there'd be no entry there because there's no, now we have a sell signal here pending on the 5. So this is a good thing. We now need a sell signal here on the 10. So we would need a sell signal here on the 5 and a sell signal here on the 10 in order for us to have entry. But there just isn't anything for us to take right now. Let me turn the pivots back on. Let's see. Nick said 3-minute pivot strategy. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take it, that could have been a 3-minute pivot entry, but I mean, not necessarily one I would take, but if you did want to take it, that'd technically be an entry. One thing that I would want to look out for though would be volume too. So I want to make sure that volume is still pushing around. The volume here is kind of low. So it's kind of hard to tell if you want to use a 25-30 or I mean a 25-50 or a 10-30 split for your TP stop loss. For me personally, if I was to take any trades here, I'd probably only go for the 100 pips because the volume here is just way too low. There just isn't very much movement in the market right now. So again, what I mentioned before, guys, my analysis still stands. I still think price is going to reach the opening price. So once we have a confirmation that price is coming below, target price point is still going to be the opening price down there. So that's still kind of where I see price going. Let me go and draw that box again over here. So box before market open. Yeah, so you can see again here, price is trying to make its way down below this area. The only reason I drew this box is because this is where price was before market open. So like, I mean, where price was basically, price was around this area, it was trying to break below, never made its way down there. But eventually I do think price will make its way back down. Again, the reason why I think price is going to come down is because the overall direction here is still pretty bearish, right? 10 minutes bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 1 minute's bearish, going on the higher time frames here. I think this is a bigger indicator here for us. The 1 hour here is still bearish, 30 minutes bearish, and the 10 minute right here is bearish as well. It's still in drawdown for the breakout 2.0, which should have hit already. But you can see price is rejecting directly off the pivots. Rejection off the pivot there, rejection off the pivot there. There's no rejection off the pivot here, but it did start from this upper area on the 1 hour. So I do think price will come down further. And I think, you know, as it comes down further, it's going to reach the opening price down here. So, and there we go, as price drops down lower from that point. If I was to take some speculative moves, I'd be looking for any type of sell entries that I can find here. Rejection off this point. I think if price ends up breaking below here, it'll be an area for it to push even further. So we'll see as price continues to you know, push around from here. But again, as I mentioned, you know, my target price point is always going to be opening price right here. That's like straight up the area that I'd be looking for. Let's see if there's anything here for me to follow. This nice. Yeah, so Vincent over here just sent me his profits. He said banks stay open. So he took the trades here. So basically Vincent is looking for these little pushes, right? Because he knows the direction of price. Like I've been saying that price is going to come back down, and Vincent is pretty much taking these sells whenever they come back below. So he took 2 trades here. His first trade, he locked in 79.41. Nice work, Vincent. You know, these are risky trades, but Vincent knows what he's doing. If you guys remember, Vincent is one of the people here who ended up on the leaderboard for FTMO. So he was like one of the top, I think, 10 traders on FTMO for 1 month on his account size. Like within his ranks, he was on that leaderboard. You know, my goal this year is to get a lot of people on that board. Since I'm taking more trades now, prior I wouldn't take too many trades, so I wouldn't really get on that board. I would probably be like under 10K each month because I was very conservative. But now that we're taking more entries here with 3 different strategies, you know, my goal is also to be on that board as well. So I'll try to be on that board. If I'll keep looking at it. I probably won't get on it this month because I'm starting the new accounts. But I might merge both my 200K accounts. So if I merge both of my accounts, it'll be easier for me to get on that board because I'll be making way more profit that way. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Vincent over here locked in 79.41 on this account, and then 180 on this one. Well, same account, but he just took more trades. So nice work right there, Vincent, on both of those. Careful for these scammers right here in the group, guys. All right, let me see where price is currently at. Let me see if I can find another area here. So I still think price is going to come down. It's just a matter of time until it does, but at the moment, still not there. Kip just posted some profits as well. He's currently up 1,476. Nice work, Kip. And I think that's it for right now. All right, so price is still coming down these points. We have some nice rejections off these candles. Target price point still gonna be down here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so Still nothing for us to take right here, guys, at least with regard to official entries. One entry that we might be getting soon may be a momentum scalp failure. So if we get a sell signal or a green buy signal here that comes up and it closes, this could technically be a momentum scalp failure entry as long as the volume is below average on the bottom, right? That's the main thing that you're looking for. Volume here looks like it may be above average, so probably no momentum scalp failure there, unfortunately. But the target price point is still going to be opening price. So you can see right here that the green bar is above the volume bar or volume line. So this is not going to be a momentum scalp failure if it closes. Yeah, so no momentum scalp failure right there, unfortunately. Volume here is above average. As you guys can see, market here is not, I mean, it's not really good at all. Just going back and forth. We have the sell signal here on the 5. We just now need a sell signal here on the 10 to have entry for the momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp. All right. So we just need that sell signal on the 10. It's only 7:20, guys. So I know it's a little frustrating that we're waiting for these entries to come up, but it is only 7:20. So we still have about 40 minutes left until 8. So there's still a lot of time for entry here. It's just the entries have not come. I mean, the market's been like this for the past couple of weeks. If you guys have noticed, a lot of these entries come super late. So I'm not too worried about like forcing anything at the moment. But yeah, I'm kind of just sitting tight right now. I'm hoping to take at least one trade and catch 100 pips, specifically on my MFFs, because those are the only accounts that I'm getting paid out on right now. For my FTMO, I got paid out that one time when I had like, so if you guys remember before, I had like multiple accounts on my copier a couple of weeks ago. That's the last time I got paid out on FTMO. So like, I don't remember what day that was, but there was a day where I had like 6 or 7 accounts on my copier. Yeah, I can't remember what day it was, guys, but it was like that. Okay, it was this day. So on this 27th, this was the last time I got paid out for FTMO because I started my new challenges. And this was my challenge account. And this right here where it had 0, that's because I got paid out on these accounts. So I'm not getting any more payouts for FTMO until I start my funded accounts, which is going to be in a couple of days. My MFFs are the only ones I'm getting paid out on. I'm not using my TFF anymore, just FYI, guys. Yesterday, I did make profit on it, but the profit was so minimal that I'm not going to make it out of the hole. So I made 1,598. I'm just going to use these for my longer term trades. So I'm taking my TFF off my copier, and right now I'm only using my MFFs. My FCMOs will be added on once I get my funded accounts. I just got to send in my my business details because my company changed its name and stuff. Kenny, no, I didn't. Weren't you in here earlier, Kenny? Because I mentioned what happened with the accounts, but no, I did not blow the accounts. I mean, I've been mentioning this for like since last year, Kenny. I mentioned that I the company name changed and they didn't let me change the email. So I said, okay, at the beginning of the year, I got to start 2 new accounts with FTMO so that I can swap them over because I don't want to overlap. Like I don't want to have to start a new challenge and not get paid out for a whole 2 months. So what happened was I was using the account until I got paid out. And then I started 2 new challenges, which I did and I passed already. And they're now funded. I just have 1 more trading day. So I'm making the transition right now. I'm basically forfeiting my older funded accounts and I'm swapping them for my new ones because you can't just change your email with FTMO. They're very strict about it. So because I haven't been getting emails from FTMO for like the past year because I've had, the company changed like last July. So no, I didn't blow the accounts. It's just I'm switching them over to the new one. Let me see if there's anything else over here. All right, let me see if there's anything else here for us. So we don't have a sell signal here on the 10 yet. We have the sell signal here on the 5, but not on the 10 yet. Still waiting for price to come down. So right here, I'm just waiting for price to make its way back down from where it's currently at. There's not going to be an entry for momentum scalp or momentum scalp variation because obviously we don't have the sell signal here on the 10 yet. In order for us to have entry here, we have a pending sell now on the 10, which is good. We're pretty much just waiting for this to confirm. The 10-minute here still has 5 minutes on it left, so it's going to be a while before it actually closes. Let's see, question from William. William said, Sean, I have a question. What are the settings for the momentum V2 indicator on the 5 and 10? Same as the 1 minute scalp plus 5 and 10. Yeah, exactly, William. So it should be the default settings. Some people have mentioned that they had issues with the timeframes being changed a little bit, but I haven't had any issues. So like, I think the default settings are like 10 and 5, but if you're having issues with it, then just change it to 5 and 10. I have it set to 5 and 10 and it's fine. Some people said they had issues when it's like 10 and 5 backwards, but for me, I think it's fine where it's currently at. So I just have it at 5 and 10 like this, William. And that's how you would get the gold bars if everything here pretty much aligns. Zach said, I'll take your other accounts off your hands. Yeah, no, unfortunately, the accounts only go to like one, so each person can only have like 2 accounts. I think it's like each household. So if you're in the same household, FT won't only allows 2 accounts. I asked them to just change my email, but they're pretty strict about not changing email. So I have to just stick with, I got to stick with starting the new account, which what I did. And it's kind of annoying, but because I've been a member with them for so long, but I just had to start a brand new account with them and just do a new challenge. See, Alan's asking, Sean, is there any way to change the screen to dark mode? Yeah, so if you go over here to your account, you just click on, I don't know what happened, color theme right here. If you click on color theme, you can change it to dark like that. I forgot how to change the screen though. I don't know if anyone knows how to change the screen. Usually if you click on this here, it'll change like the whole thing. The screen will actually be black too. There used to be dark mode here before, but I'm not sure what happened to it. There used to be a dark mode button right here. But I don't use it because I feel like the dark mode makes it harder for me to see things. So I personally don't know I don't know how to change the actual screen. Let me go to settings here. Appearance. Well, I mean, you can change it to dark mode and then you can just change the background screen to black if you really want it that way. I don't like how it looks, so I don't use it that way. But yeah, I guess if you really wanted to change it, just go to color theme. I guess you could do dark and then you just go over here and you change the background as well. You go to, oh, you can just do that too. You just right click, go to color theme, change it to black, and then change it to dark. Yeah, for me personally, it doesn't work well, so I don't like using it that way. And you can change the themes right there to whatever color you want. Yeah, just right click, go to color theme, and then you can set it from there. But I have mine set to light. All right, man, I think I'm getting sick. It sucks. I hate flying on planes because whenever I'm on a plane, I get sick. Crap, now my screen looks kind of weird. Let me see if I can just go back. There we go. All right, Alan. So that's how you would change it. Just right click, go to color theme, and then you could change it to light and then the whatever color you want in here as well. All right, guys, so price is finally making its way below here. As I mentioned, my target price point hasn't changed. It's still opening price. So I think if price ends up closing below this box, it's just going to push below. The reason why I drew this box here is because I already identified this as the middle area. It is basically where price was before open. Yeah, no problem, William, Alan, no problem. Let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, there's not really much for us to take here. I still do think price is going to come below. Yeah, Maddie mentioned if it closes below the box, it'll be a high-low entry. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. If it ends up closing below that point. We don't have the sell signal here on the 10 yet, guys, so we're still waiting for that. It's pending right here, but it hasn't closed yet. Yeah, I mean, if it closes below, it looks like it'd be a high-low entry, Maddie, like you mentioned. Question from Gary. Gary's asking, all right, guys, 1 second. Sorry, I got to blow my nose again. All right, guys, I'm back. So let me just read the messages over here real quick. So there's no entries for us to take still, guys. Sammy's asking, did we miss the trade? I got to sell in the 10-minute on currency.com. So I'm not on currency.com, so I don't know what's going on that time on that specific broker data. But here, I guess I could just pull it up real quick. Let's see. Well, we didn't miss the trade because I'm not looking on that time frame, so I'm not really. I don't have any eyes on there, but let's see. Yeah, if you were on currency.com, then it looks like there was an entry here. So, I mean, if you took it, it would have been an entry for you. So, for example, the sell signal right here, this would have been a momentum scalp or, yeah, just a momentum scalp. There's no momentum scalp variation. The variation would be right here, actually. So, there were two entries here on this one. So, you could have taken this one right here. Sammy, if you wanted to. I'm not on this time frame, so I don't really, or this broker data, so I can't really tell exactly like when these come up. But yeah, there was one entry right here, and then there's one entry right here. Both of them would have hit full TP. So if you guys took those, great. If you guys didn't, I'm not on currency.com, so I can't really see where price is moving. I'm on YM, so on YM, there's nothing that came up on my end. Yeah, nothing for me here, but if you guys were on currency.com, there were entries there, Sammy, that you could have taken, and they would have hit TP, both of them actually. The momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp, because there is no sell signal here on the 10 on YM, but there is and was a sell signal on US30 for currency.com data. All the data is a little different, so I find this data to be the most accurate. Currency.com is like second in line because I used currency.com for a long time, so I don't have anything against currency.com. It's just I think YM is more accurate. But yeah, looking at this over here, there's no sell signal well, there was a sell signal the whole time. There's never a buy signal that came up. So this and this would have been two entries that would have hit for US30 if you're using that data. So we didn't necessarily miss the trade on the live because we're not on that data, but it did play out on those specific charts. And see, Gary's asking, isn't that a loss for you to give up your funded account? No, because I have two new funded accounts, Gary. So what I did was I already had two funded accounts with FTMO under a different account. Because if you guys remember before, my old company, well, the group was called K2 Trades before, right? I had to change the name due to a copyright lawsuit that we had going on. There was a huge hedge fund called K2 Advisors. and they wanted to monopolize the name K2. So I had to change the name to Kodi Kai Trades. It was a lawsuit that it would just went on forever. So, they're a hedge fund. They have an unlimited amount of funds to fund a case. And I'm not going to keep throwing away money to fight a case like that. So what I did was I changed the company name, and with the company name, the email had to change as well. So with the change of email, FTMO doesn't let you change your email in the system. That's why I had to start 2 new challenges, and I already got funded on those 2. So I didn't really take a loss. It was kind of just a headache, right? Because I had to go and do new accounts, but I was already profitable, so it wouldn't matter. I just started 2 new accounts, added them to my copier, got funded on them, and now I just got to send in my new company details so that I can start a brand new company account with FTMO. So. Yeah, I didn't necessarily, it would have been a loss if I would have had to give them up and then not have a transfer of accounts, but I try to do it the smart way. I started 2 challenges alongside of my funded accounts. I got my last payout last month, and then now I'm going to forfeit those accounts, and I'm getting 2 new brand new funded accounts with FTMO. Yeah, I know it's kind of annoying. It was just a headache because it's so much. I got doing another challenge is so annoying because you have to wait 2 months or almost 2 months. I had to wait 20 days to get funded. And it's now I just got to wait for it to actually send in my details, have them verify my new company name, and then create a brand new account. But yeah, there was maybe a couple of weeks where I didn't get paid out through FTMO because the last time I got paid out was January 27th. It's been maybe a week or 2. Which is not horrible. I already saved up enough, so I'm cool for the next couple. I could probably be cool for the next couple of years if I wanted to. But the MFF is still running, so I'm still getting paid out through MFF. TFF is out of the picture. I'm not using TFF anymore. I just have 1 account with them, but I'm only going to use that for bigger trades. Let's see. So D Lee is asking, once you get funded, do you think it's best to run profits into an LLC? Yeah, that's exactly what I do. So when you sign up for the, here, let me see if I can pull up the email here. I don't want to give out too many details of my account, but let me see if I can pull up the email here. Just don't want to give out too much information here on my account. Okay, so once you pass your challenge, so once you pass FTMO, this is the contract. This is what it looks like. It says FTMO contract trader, congratulations again on passing your evaluation process. You can see it says Sean C here. It was different before because it was on my other account. But yeah, so this is the contract you get, and then it'll ask you if you want to set up as a company or as an individual. Obviously, I'm going to set up as a company. I just got to send them my company documents. Once you get funded, this is what the contract looks like, guys. I got funded on 2 accounts. I'm just waiting for the other one to pass through. I just need 1 more trading day. But this is what the account looks like. So this is what you guys should be looking forward to. If you guys are not funded yet, this is what the FTMO funded trader account contract looks like. You just give them your information, company name, registration number, company, whatever, all that info. And then you choose here whether you want to be signing the contract as an individual person or a company. I recommend a company because then you can start writing stuff off and all the good stuff, get your cool Lambo and shit. get whatever the things that you guys want, basically all the cool things that you guys can write off. So yeah, definitely you want to sign up as a company. And that's what the contract looks like. I haven't signed it yet because I just got it today. As I mentioned, I just got the funded accounts or 2 funded accounts. Well, one of them is done. And then I have 1 more where I have 1 more trading day. And then I'll have 2 200K accounts. I think I might merge those into a 400K account. And then I'll just trade off that because I think I'll be fine since I've been trading for a while. It's not like it's a big deal now. My trade psychology is on point, so I can probably just trade on the 400K instead of 2 200Ks, and it's easier. So I don't need to use a copier for the other account. Yeah, Maddie said Lambo truck on the way. Yeah, no, definitely that's the next goal. All right, let me scroll down real quick. Patrick is also, and guys, just a reminder, there's nothing for us to take right now. So don't worry, you guys are not missing anything. We're still looking for a sell signal here on the 10-minute, which we don't have yet. In order for us to have an entry here, we need that. There was a momentum scalp failure here that may have came up, but the volume here is above average. So today's just a messy day. There's nothing for us to take. I will give you guys a disclaimer. I did take a trade earlier when price was coming back below. So I did take the sell right here. It wasn't an official entry because it doesn't meet any of the criteria here for the momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp failure. But this one that I saw right here was it was a pivot scalp. So regular pivot scalp, it's one that Kip likes to apply. The reason why I took this here, and I'll put the requirements here. The pivot scalp is similar to the momentum scalp, but there's no alignment of entries there. I just took it behind the scenes because it's not one of the strategies that we're applying. So, but it is one of the strategies that I do have. So like one of these here, we confirm overall bias is bearish, valid momentum signal for a sell right there. The volume here was above average. So I was like, okay, this is going to push down at least 100 pips. So just a disclaimer, I did take this trade because I don't want people to like, well, there's like, there's trolls out there that are going to be complaining that I'm taking trades and then not telling people. So this is what I took here. Reason why I took it, I'm gonna give you guys my analysis here. This was a pivot scalp entry on the 1 minute. 1030 split. Overall bias was a sell, valid momentum signal. The only additional confirmation I used here was volume was above average. So with it being above average, I knew price was going to push down at least 100 pips. So that's why I took this here for a sell. I'll post my profits for those on my MFF accounts. And it's only my MFF because that's the only accounts I'm getting paid out on right now until I get my funded accounts for the others. But I mean, a lot of you guys, I could see a lot of you guys took this trade too. I think Kip probably took it. So like looking over here, a lot of people here actually took it. So Ensong over here took it because he knows the strategy. He took it locked in 340. Nice work, Ensong. David over here took some trades too. 1410. So as you guys can see, I'm not the only one that spotted that. There's a lot of people here who actually spot this as well. Vincent over here as well. He took the sell right there, same time, 208 for the day. Nice work, Vincent. Yeah, he took it right here. You can see his markups. He took the same exact trade I just mentioned to you guys. Yeah, and over here. So Vincent again, so you guys can see here, congrats to Vincent. He's again on the top leaderboard on FTMO. Huge congrats to Vincent. Vincent's like the only person I've seen here who's like really consistent on here. He's right here, number 8 on the leaderboard of FTMO. He's on a small account, 10K, but he is still on the leaderboard, right here. So that's my goal moving forward. I think for the next account, I'll get on this leaderboard. I'll show you guys that it's possible. I've been using smaller accounts, but now that I'll merge my 200K accounts, I probably would get on this board too. So right here, nice work, Vincent. Again, on the leaderboard, Maddie over here as well took the trade, total profit of 800 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. So don't worry if you guys didn't take this trade, right? FOMO is like your worst enemy in this trading game. So just if you guys see a lot of people here profiting, don't worry because none of these official entries have come up yet. If you guys know my strategies and you guys can apply them yourself, then go ahead and take them, but only if you guys understand what you're doing, right? If you guys are new here and you guys don't know what you're doing, just stick to these because these are for sure going to hit. These are like maybe entries, but these over here, in my opinion, are like for sure going to hit. So just keep that in mind. With this right here. So Patrick over here, it looks like a lot of people here actually took the entry. Patrick took it as well. He locked in 937. Nice work, Patrick. And I didn't even have to say anything. Like I didn't tell you guys I took the trade, but Slava over here as well, currently up 2,848. Nice work, Slava. Damn it. Okay. Solid. So question over here from Martha, she's asking what's the criteria to get on the leaderboard? You just got to be highest profit within that class. So for me, since I'm on a 200K account, I wasn't really locking as much profit as I typically would if I was like taking more trades, because I was only taking like 1 or 2 trades a day or even less, like no trades for like a couple of days and maybe like 1 trade a week. So I would never get on the leaderboard because I was making like, half a percentage point or like 75% of a percentage point per trade. And you can see on the leaderboard, Vincent over here is up like 12%, right? I'm typically under the 10% range because I'm taking smaller trades and I'm just getting in and out very quickly. But I mean, basically anyone on the leaderboard is above 10%, closer to like 20 sometimes. And that's how you get on the leaderboard on FTMO. Let's see. So There's a sell signal right here, guys. But again, there's no sell signal here on the 10 yet, or the 5. The 5 actually has a buy signal. So I don't know if we'll have any official entries for today, guys. Unfortunately, man, it sucks because I was hoping to get at least one entry as we made our way back. I mean, I made my own entry, but it's not going to count towards the profits. It's just going to count towards my own profits because I was the only one that took it. I mean, other people took it, but it's not going to count as an official entry because it's not one of these 3 that we're applying here. These are the 3 main strategies that we're applying here on the live session. So the only trades that are in account are going to be these that I actually tell you guys, okay, take this trade. This thing lines up. Everything meets criteria. But for today, nothing's met criteria. You can see there's a lot of back and forth movement with these momentum signals. The 5-minute here is now pending for a sell signal. The 10-minute here is also pending. So, I mean, we might get an entry. We still have 15 minutes until 8. So I'm going to wait for, that to play out. But at the moment, we just don't have a confirmation. Let me scroll up real quick. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, so question from Patrick. There's still no entries, guys, so don't worry, we're not missing anything. Question from Patrick. He's asking, is it not allowed to pass challenge while you still have a active funded accounts? Basically like having backups ready to go. I don't think you can start a new challenge, Patrick, like once you are fully funded. That's why I had to start a brand new account. I think once you're, well, I'll be able to tell you once I have my 2 funded accounts established, but I don't think you can start any more challenges if you're already maxed out. So I can't say for sure because I didn't try it before, but when I had 2 funded accounts, that was my max allocation. So I think once that happens, then you can't start another challenge because they'll just say your allocation has been maxed out. So I don't know exactly for sure, but I'll have my second funded account by tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I'll have my contract by tomorrow, and then I'll let you know from there because I got to send in my contract information, and then from there, I guess I could try to start another challenge, and if it doesn't let me, I'll let you know. So by the end of the week, I'll let you know if that is the case. I know, Maddie, 100%. I just saw your message. Yeah, I haven't seen Tommy on here for a while. It's busy. It's busy being a Disney character. I think he's working for Disney now. He does marketing for Disney, so. And he's been busy. Let me scroll down real quick. Okay, Will said, hey, Sean, what is the average you use for the volume? I use the default number, Will. So going over to the volume indicator, I just use default 20. I haven't changed anything. I just turned it on. It's not really a hard line average anyways. It's just something to keep things lined up there. Alan's asking, is mentoring open to all members? Yes. So the mentoring session is open to everyone, Alan. So later at 5 p.m. today, guys, we're back on schedule. I will be posting all of the links to the mentoring session today at 5 o'clock in all of premium groups. So it'll be posted up there. Zach is asking, this would not be a momentum failure at 7:45. I don't see a momentum scalp failure over here. Zach, which one are you referring to? Are you talking about this one at 7:33? There's only one here that I see. The one here at 7:33 wouldn't be a momentum scalp failure because volume is above average. This right here would have been, it technically would have been a momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp, but there's no sell signal on the 10-minute time frame or the 5. So you need a sell signal here and you need a sell signal here in order for that to be an entry. So no entry off that one right there specifically. I know, Maddie, right? Let's see. So Rashid is asking, is there a glitch with the gold bar? So here's the problem with the gold bar sometimes, guys, is you guys saw earlier that there was a pending sell signal here on the 5 and 10, right? So when there was a pending sell here on the 5 and 10, that's when this one over here closed out. That's why there was a gold bar. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a glitch. I would say that because there was a sell signal here that was pending at the time, when this one here closed, that's why it closed with the gold bar. But I wouldn't say it's a glitch because I've been seeing that come up over time. Like even my brother said it's a glitch, but after seeing it live a couple of times, like see how this right here comes up with the gold, with the red bar. what happens is when the candle closes on the 1 minute, but the red bar is still pending on the 5 and 10, it closes with gold because the system already identifies that, okay, this is here is pending. And if they all close as red, then that's why it comes up. So my brother also mentioned that it was a glitch, but from seeing it done live, it's because like these over here will align with the 5 and 10. So if we have a pending signal here, but it's also pending on the 5 and 10, as long as it closes and these are still active, it's going to close with a gold bar. Yeah, Maddie said the gold bar makes it easier to identify entries, but you should look at the 5 and 10 to confirm they're all aligning. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, Maddie. So you guys should always look across the board, like have 3 time frames up if you guys can. I know if you guys are not on a Pro Plus account, you can't have 3 charts open, but it's recommended, you know, whenever you make an entry, just to be sure that the red bar or the green bar, if you're looking for a buy, is actually present across the time frames. But the gold bar does make it easier for you to identify, you know, if things are aligning at the specific time period. Man, this 5 minute has been super messy. If you guys have seen, this 5 minute has been giving back and forth signals for like the past, man, I don't even know how long it's been just coming up and down. So you have this one here. Typically, you're not supposed to get a lot of signals here on the 5 because it's a higher time frame. But here you get a sell signal, buy signal, sell signal, and then back to a buy signal here. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be having any official entries for today. However, there are some members here who did take trades. Some more profits here from Kenny. Kenny took the sell at the same exact time we did, locked in 105 off that. Nice work, Kenny. Man, I don't know what's up with Telegram. I keep getting these errors. Anyways, Kenny here locked in 105. Craig over here as well. He took a couple scalps as well off the analysis. Looks like he took the same trade I took right there. Total profit of 283 for the day. Nice work, Craig. Kenny over there, 105. Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, Zach said take Airborne and Zickum. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go take some emergency right now after I get off this live. I think I just have a cold from the plane ride. I always get sick when I'm on the plane, so I hate riding planes. There's always someone that's sick on there and passes it along with someone. All right, so let's see. If there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to be having an entry today, unfortunately. Everything here has just been super messy on the 1 minute. As you guys can see, there's a couple of momentum scout failures that possibly would have came up. But if you look at the volume below, volume has always been above average. So we couldn't take any trades there, even if they came up. So there's nothing here that we could have taken. Like literally every buy signal that came up was above average. So the third requirement right here is confirm volume is below average, which hasn't been there. So no entries for us there because this requirement was never met. And then over here for the momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp, there's no entries for this because the momentum never aligned, right? But you guys can see from like where the market's been moving. If I go ahead and just like hide everything here. So if I turn off all the indicators, you'll see that there is really not much direction here. Let me go and draw a line from open, market open right here at 630. Price hasn't really pushed in any direction. So it's not really a huge deal. If I turn off all the indicators here, you guys can see that there's no direction, right? Market open right here, faked out to the bottom, came up, and it just literally went sideways the entire session. So don't worry, guys. You guys didn't miss anything from today. Today's a typical Trap Tuesday. If you guys didn't take any trades, that's actually a good thing because you guys didn't FOMO into any of these moves. I know it's kind of tempting when you guys see other people profiting, but realistically, it's better to have no trades than to have any losses. Because if you have a loss, then you have to dig yourself out of that hole the next day. So if you guys didn't take any trades today, that's completely fine. I only took one trade because the pivot scalp entry there looked really good. But if you guys are new here, you guys are not familiar with that strategy. Only the older members who are familiar with the other trades that we've been taking are familiar with that specific strategy. So they took it with me, even though I didn't call it out because people did identify that. Basically, if you get a pivot scalp entry and the momentums or the volume is above average, odds of it hitting are very likely, right? And you can just look across right here. Like we have a sell signal, volume is above average. Took that trade right there, full TP. Right? So just keep that in mind, guys, when you guys are looking for these entries here, and don't feel like pressure to take any trades if there's nothing here that we see that's official. If you guys are familiar with my old strategies, you guys know that I have like over 20 strategies that you guys can apply. You guys are more than welcome to apply it if you guys feel comfortable. But if you guys are new here, just focus on these 3 here because these are for sure going to hit. Like basically all of the criteria here from the results, if you guys have seen the results here, for this year so far, we're currently up 17 wins and 2 losses. This is only from applying these 3 strategies. So just keep that in mind. If you always want to have a decent win rate like that, if you do, so we're 17 and 2 for this whole year. If you do basic math on that, so 17 divided by 19 trades, that's an 89% win rate. So if you just stayed focused and just took these trades here, you would have easily been funded. That's how I got funded on my 200K counts, because we're technically at 14% for the year so far. So just keep that in mind, guys. Jennifer over here, she looks like she had a loss pre-market, and then she bounced right back. Total profit of 2,769 for the day. Nice work, Jennifer. God, man, this thing's annoying. My TFF just keeps closing. My Telegram keeps closing on me. And then Patrick over here, he said, we'll get it again tomorrow. Total profit of 3,029 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Patrick. Yeah, so before I take off for the day, guys, let me go ahead and take a screenshot of my profits for the day so far. I don't need to take the full account because I only have 3 accounts here. Let me just go to my MFF real quick. All right. So these are not official profits, guys, but I'm just going to show you guys what I locked in on my MFFs for the day. So just one trade. Taken over here. Let me check the charts real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Sell signal, no sell signal on the 5. So we have a sell signal here on the 5. It's super messy, but there's nothing here on the 10. So there's still no entries that we could take. I was trying to see if we could take an entry here on the 1, but there's still nothing there for us to take. Price is dropping back down. Target price point again, guys, is still opening price. So I still think price will come down and hit this area, but we don't really know exactly when it'll make it to that point. But yeah, here are my profits so far for my accounts. My TFF number 1 locked in 1,090. MFF number 1, 1,090. MFF number 2, 1,090, and then my MFF number 3, 1,090 as well. So I just locked in about 3,000 across my accounts. My FTMOs are currently getting funded right now, or they're passing through the funded process. I just need to send them my company documents, and then should be good to go. But yeah, other than that, sorry, 1 second, guys, I got to blow my nose again. All right, guys, I'm back. Karen said she took the sell. Yeah, nice work, Karen. So she actually took the pivot scalp right there. She took it for 100 pips and then she hit her TP. I would consider this one a little more risky, Karen, because the volume wasn't above average, but it came down right after. So, sometimes you just got to take the risk and then it'll play out. So Karen took the trade right here and they hit. I think the trade you mentioned earlier too, Nick, on the 3-minute. Yeah. So if you take the 3-minute one that you were talking about earlier, that one also hit right here for 25 or 250 pips. So just depending on which time frames you guys are trading on. I don't recommend trading on here unless you guys are familiar with it. But Nick's an old member, so he knows about the 3-minute pivot scalp. You guys will see here that there's different pivot scalps. There's a 1-minute pivot scalp. This is the one that Karen just took. And then the one that Nick was referring to earlier is the same thing. It's just on a 3-minute time frame, 3-minute pivot scalp. So yeah, Nick said he let it go. Keonia said, I'm ready for a smooth week. It's overdue. New name is Trash Tuesday. Yeah, there's just no direction here, guys. If you guys look at the market from Tuesday today, there's no direction. Price faked out to the bottom, pushed back up, and it's just been going back and forth. However, my target price point is still going to be this blue line right here, which is opening price. And the reason for that is because everything's still very bearish. If you were to look over here, there's no momentum on the 10, but it's very bearish with regard to trend. So 10-minute trend is very bearish. 5-minute trend super bearish as well. 1-minute trend here is also very bearish. Looking on the higher time frames here on the 1 hour, 30-minute, and 10 minutes, still very bearish. The breakout 2.0 is still technically running. So if you guys took this trade earlier, this is such a messy trade, right? Like this thing has been running for over an hour now. This trade's supposed to technically hit, within a couple minutes. But this will show you exactly that there's no direction in the market. Because breakout 2.0, it's a breakout. So it's supposed to happen right away. But for this here, you can see that price is slowly making its way back down, right? So, I mean, there's still hope for this trade here if you guys are in it, but it's not one that I took. And this is exactly why. So this is what I mentioned before. I don't like taking a breakout 2.0 or any breakout in general because it eats up my capital, right? My margin gets taken up right here. Then I have to hold on to this trade forever until I get some sort of confirmation there, or until it hits TP. Because if I was to take this with a big lot size or a decent lot size, I wouldn't be able to take multiple scalps if multiple scalps came up. So just something to keep up. Let's see, Allenson in the last few minutes, gold has gone up almost 12. Yeah, this thing on gold is just spiked up like crazy. I think the market is setting up for Powell to speak because Powell's going to speak in about an hour, guys. So when Powell speaks in an hour, price is probably going to probably correct down super heavy. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll just keep skyrocketing even higher. Yeah, I don't personally trade gold, so I can't really say for example, like where I think it'll be going. But let me check the news real quick to see if there's anything here. So the news just finished right here. Kenny, with those links you sent over. And check CNBC real quick if there's any update. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any update right now. I mean, the Dow is still down 142 points, S&P is down 9 points, NASDAQ's at 4 points, Russell 2K is down 16 points, and the VIX is up 1.6%. Let's see, Fed Neil says central bank has not made enough progress, keeping his rate outlook. Yeah, so over here, you can see like just some hints where they're saying that the Fed fund rate needs to rise to 5.4% to put them in a more aggressive slot. So if that becomes the case where the interest rate increases even higher, it's not going to be good for the economy, right? So if this becomes a case when Powell speaks later today at 9:30 or 9:40, I think price will just come right back down. So I think this will just continue to drop even further, which will probably be a good move for like if you guys are in a sell here. But yeah, guys, there's no entries here for today. Unfortunately, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I just don't see anything happening from now until like Powell speaks. So if you guys don't have to trade, I don't recommend you guys trade because it's not really a good time to trade since Powell is speaking in a few minutes, not really a few minutes, but in an hour or so. Yeah, Powell is scheduled to speak here at 9:40 a.m. So it's 8 a.m. right now. He's going to come on in about an hour and 40 minutes. Not necessarily the time that you want to trade in because you can expect big spike to happen at 9:40. I know a lot of people try to gamble trading when Powell speaks. So like if you guys remembered last week, I took an accidental trade and I locked in a huge profit, right? Off my my account. So I took a trade last week it was really unexpected on NFP, I believe, or I forgot what day it was, but there was a day when there was news happening and I accidentally took this trade where I locked in like 5,000. This luck could instantly be bad luck, right? I could have lost 5,000 on that trade instead of making it. So for me personally, I don't recommend you guys trade during Powell's speech. I mean, if you guys want to trade, that's really on you. If you blow your account, you got to take responsibility for it, because there's no guarantee price is going to come down or price is going to go up. So for me personally, I just sit out of the market. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think we'll be wrapping this up for the day. Unfortunately, there's no official trades for us. So there's 0 trades for this week so far, because we didn't trade live yesterday. I did take trades myself, but none of those are going to count towards the results. So no trades from yesterday, no official trades from today. And then hopefully it picks back up tomorrow as we get deeper and deeper into this Fed week. So let's see if there's anything else here. Nice. So Zach over here said keeping his consistency, took partial move off the SR rejection there. Total profit of 622. So look at Zach's profits here. Like Zach's made like such a huge change in his trading ability. So he takes only a few trades a day, like 1 to 4 trades a day. But you can see for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, he's had nothing but wins, right? This is the consistency that, everyone should really strive for, because this is like where you guys should be. I don't know if Zach sent me his bad trades, but he wasn't doing so good in the beginning, but he's doing a lot better now. His consistency is super on point. So yeah, just keep it up, Zach, and you should be funded in no time. A couple more profits over here from Shaka and Fern. Fern locked in 477 for the day. He caught that push to the upside. Nice work, Fern. And then also Shaka over here took the sells on the way down. Total profit of 1,120 for the day. So all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any more profits, feel free to post them up. Otherwise, I will catch you guys back here later today at 5 p.m. for the mentoring session. So if you guys want to join that, I'll send the link in the groups. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next live session. So catch you.